Okay. Uh Finally made a smooth transition into a regular thing here. Thanks for joining me. I am live now. There's at least one person joining in, which is my good friend Dr. Elo. So, thank you for coming, and yeah, we'll see who else jumps in here. If no one else does, then that's okay. If you're watching this on the replay, and if you don't know me, my name is Patrick, and this is Everyday Tech for Everyday People. And I do tech reviews, tech tutorials, anything tech. I'll talk about it. Whether you should buy the new iMac or not, or the new Macs, the new Mac Pros, I'll talk about it. I have my opinion. I've talked about it before on a previous live stream. I have this Rode Wireless Go right here, which is not, I don't have it on yet, but I will be turning it on in a moment when I switch to a different camera angle, which is actually this camera angle. But I'll get to what this camera is. I've shown it in the past. But today is all about my 2021 desk tour. And I do one of these videos every year. And I say that because this will be my second one, and I will be planning to do it every year. So this is the second annual Everyday Tech desk tour. So it's not a studio tour, it's a desk tour because this office is dual use. It's not actually my desk tour setup here, as we'll get into it, is not mainly for live streaming or YouTube. It's mainly for my work, but I do everything here, as well as my YouTube stuff here. So, but have been going back into the office, so it will be used mostly for YouTube stuff, and while I go back in the office. But I'm not back in the office every day. But anyway, that's beside the point. So, if you don't know, if you've never been here with some of my live streams before, or even watching the replay here, I use a lot of these live streams for. I use them a lot for just practice, and mainly my content is recorded video. So a lot of times I will use some of the recorded. I will use what I do here as kind of a rehearsal, but sometimes I use the clips like I did last week. I had my first guest, actually live guest, which was Consistent Ash, and I used some of those clips on how to bring in guests into OBS. So if you didn't watch that live chat last week, that one, actually that was a very fun one. So having a guest, and I want to start having guests more, but I was using OBS, and the reason why is I want to get to a point where I am using I'm trying to use other things other than paid software. So I am actually broadcasting Ecamm Live today, and I have how do I say it? The standard version, not the pro version. So there is a version before the higher pro version, so it doesn't include things like Ecamm interview. I can bring in interview guests with Skype, but no one really uses Skype anymore. So, but last week I used Video Ninja, which used to be called Video Ninja, and yeah, so I've been doing that for sure. But today I wanted to go through my desk tour setup, and I'm hoping in the next 2 weeks, I'll have a formal desk tour set up here. So, yeah. But with that said, let me talk about Ecamm Live actually a little bit. So there were some updates, and there are things that we can do. There's a lot of different. I'm not going to go through the main updates. So, for example, we can bring in some of the chats. We can kind of redesign them a little bit, right? You can redesign some of the overlays. You can bring in a desktop overlay. There's a lot of different things. There is one thing that was interesting for me to bring in was the ability to bring in a network camera. Now, I realize not many people are going to want this, but I have an old network camera, and it's this one behind me. It just happens to be a PTZ camera. So if you don't know what a PTZ camera is, it's a pan tilt zoom camera. So I have this app on my iPad right here. And so, sorry for bumping that. So I can kind of move around this camera here. And a lot of times these are used for houses of worship. But today I am using it for my use here to kind of show off my desk setup here. So I'm able to program different things, like I can point out different spots. So let's say this is going to be a little jarring to you guys, but let's say I want to show you my camera. So I can hit a button and it's go right to my camera. And this is the A6500. I do have an A6400 on the way, hopefully. Bought it off eBay. Seller was reputable, but they're a little bit delayed in getting me the stuff I need. So that's kind of a bummer. But I was hoping to get it this Saturday, and I'm gonna bug him again. I think he has until this week until I have to put in some claims, and so not a big deal. You're usually protected as far as eBay's concerned through PayPal as well, so you can do a claim. Again, he was a reputable seller, so I'm not worried about getting the product. It's just a matter of when, and hopefully it'll be in good condition. Usually if someone has this kind of like response or this kind of that many positive feedbacks, he had a few negatives, but very minor things. Hopefully the description will be as it is. So, but yeah, so this is back to the PTZ camera. Ecamm Live does a great. Okay, now I can bring this in. I can bring this camera into OBS, but there's like about a second delay, and for some reason Ecamm Live was able to do this, and I think because they're just using the native. So if I like snap my fingers there's a slight delay, but like it's almost zero latency, and this is all going through the network. And again, I am not using NDI here because this camera right here is an older camera without NDI. So if this camera alone here would cost retail for like $1,1700. It's a 12x zoom. They make a 20x zoom, 30x zoom. And again, they're used a lot. Originally probably made for like conference rooms, but a lot of houses of worship use it. A lot of academics use it. Institutions use it. And so 1700 for a 12x zoom without NDI. It has an HDMI though. So I mostly use it with HDMI cables, but like if it would be so awesome if I can get zero latency even in OBS. And so that's one of the things is there's certain things with Ecamm Live that I want to use that I want to go with zero monthly fees really, but with Ecamm Live, there's just this one or two things that make it so easy to use that might get me stuck, or not stuck, but might get me to get my money to pay for another year subscription. I did get it on a Black Friday sale last year, and so hopefully there's going to be another sale, and I might actually go for the higher version, but they did up their prices, and yeah, so. But today, of course, I am going to talk about my 2021 setup, and in this live stream, because what I will do is in this live stream, I will go through not mainly what I had from last year, because I'll go through more detailed in the recorded video, and and I know Dr. Elo uses all live streaming software, and that's why he's so knowledgeable in a lot of these things too. And I'm going to go through a series of videos as well. I know Dr. Elo has the ATEM Mini. I should know because I sold them my old one. But I did get a I love the A10 Mini line of products, and I'll show it off in a moment here. But I got the A10 Mini Pro, which I'm able to go live without any software, and just go live with that box alone. So that's one of the awesome things there. But of course, you need to be able. Sometimes you want to bring in some things with your production here, or live stream, and so I want to bring in some overlays. So with Ecamm Live, I have different things set up here. Like if you're listening for the first time, please subscribe. And so these are the kind of things that I can do. But there are ways to do it with the A10 Mini. It requires a computer, of course, but I want to just go use different ways to go live, and with all different types of productions too. So I do a lot of hybrid events, or a lot of hybrid things with church meetings and stuff. I've done a few weddings, but so a lot of those meetings, a lot of those weddings do not require too much overlays. And of course you can do overlays, and I have started to do a little bit with OBS as far as some of the church hybrid events, just as show the people at home what hymn we're singing, different things like that, but nothing too fancy. I'm not trying to make it too fancy as far as those productions are concerned. But so let me get to what I want to show off today, and this is my 2021 setup. I'm gonna go over what is kind of hasn't changed at all, which is the main thing is this monitor right here. And actually, I'm gonna switch over to this camera here. I am going to switch over to this microphone right now, and it's not going to sound as good as the pod mic here, because I'm going to put the pod mic out of the way. I will go over what a little part of this pod mic though. So let me switch to this microphone here. So you should still be able to hear me now, and probably not as clear, but so I will move over this microphone, and let's see. So the main thing that hasn't changed is the big monitor here. This is the 35-inch Monoprice ultra-wide monitor. If you don't have an ultra-wide, you don't know what you're missing. And especially for productivity, this is a must. This is definitely a must. This is like having two 24-inch monitors, and I can't speak enough about it. Okay, so a little bit of change in my setup here is I used to have the Mac Mini on top, and the CalDigit TS3 Plus dock. I have that all below now, so I'm not going to show it. I don't have things set up for this, and then but this is kind of my workspace here. So let me see what I'm going to okay, I have this set to really zoom too fast, so I apologize for the kind of jerkiness. Not jerkiness, but like all of a sudden camera is going to change here. This is not adjusting exposure very well. Let me see if I can do anything about that. No, I can't manually change. But this is the A10 Mini Pro, and let me see if this will help. Oh, so I have this lamp here. There you go. Let's focus a little bit. Can we focus a little bit? Let's see. We're doing it live. There we go. This is the A10 Mini Pro, and the A10 Mini Pro is is basically a four-way camera switcher, and I can switch to like individual graphics like this. Well, actually my PTZ is not hooked up to the A10 Mini Pro, but I can switch, different things like that. I have my Chromecast on here. So that's my Chromecast there. So yeah, so actually the PTZ camera is not hooked up to the A10 Mini Pro, but it is a 4-camera switcher, and I'm able to go live with the A10 Mini Pro version. There's a regular version that Dr. Elo has as well, but I can go on air here, and the quality is really good. So I've actually done some tests on the different ways to go live. So I did a comparison with StreamYard, going direct through the browser, Ecamm Live, and with the Blackmagic. Okay, the next thing though is the other thing that the A10 Mini does, A10 Mini Pro does well, is you can do an HDMI out into a multi-monitor, multi-view. So these 4 boxes right here have to do with my camera inputs right here. So this is the camera I am hooked up to right here. This one is where my how do I say it? The Chromecast is hooked up to, and then I don't have anything hooked up to these cameras right now. I should have hooked up my GoPro actually to this one, but I do have HDMI cables coming out of this right here, and then you see my audio levels here. So this is one way to do it, and I can control what is shown on this multi-view. So this is multi-view. I could do camera 1, 2, 3, 4, the program out, and the multi-view. So I can put my still on the preview here and then cut to it. You can't see it right now, but this is what it looks like right now if I cut back and forth. So anyway, this is not a review on the A10 Mini Pro, but this is what I have right now so far. Okay, the other thing that's changed from last year, and actually let me pass here, is the other thing on my desk is my audio interface. This is the Audient Evo 4 2 input audio interface. And then, oh, okay, so that is a good question. And let me get back to that here. This is a super cheap monitor I bought off eBay. It was like 20 bucks. I don't even know the brand, 20, 30 bucks. I think it's used as a backup camera for a vehicle, but it does have an HDMI in, so that's the main reason why I got it. Now, the downside of, well, the good side of this is it's pretty clear. It just shows me everything I need to. It doesn't do an overscan, meaning I think either overscan or it does do overscan. I'm not sure, but it does cut off a little bit of the picture. And yeah, it's like 20, 30 bucks. Yeah, if you're not too concerned, there's a difference though. If you're not too concerned with color accuracy and you just need to know what's there, then this is a good option. Now there are really good monitors by like FeelWorld. They have 5-inch and 7-inch monitors like this, and they're really more accurate. You can use them as teleprompter things because they do reverse orientation, but those are about $150. You can get a newer one that's about $100. So I decided to go with a $20 to $30 one. So yeah, it does pretty well. It's not bad for my use. I'm not too concerned with color accuracy as far as that's concerned. Yeah. But yeah, back to, I have my Stream Deck there, audio interface. Back there, I'll go over what's behind the monitor in a moment. Let's see, the other major thing that changed recently is this guy, and I did a live stream on this guy, but this is my mechanical keyboard. And I did have a mechanical keyboard before by the same company. This company is called Keychron, and I used to have the Keychron K2, which is a more regular style keyboard. This is the K7. I got this through their Kickstarter program. Kickstarter, they use Kickstarter as more of a pre-sales because they're a pretty legit company, but this is a low profile mechanical keyboard, which is really awesome too. And these are the brown switches, which are semi-clickety, I would say. These are the Gateron brown the Gatoron Brown switches, I believe. They're optical switches. I am not so into deep into the mechanical keyboard game, and Dr. Ely, you probably know this, and a lot of people know this. The culture around keyboards is pretty. The community around it is pretty intense. I mean, they're pretty. How do we say it? A very well represented community. But with this keyboard right here, I love this keyboard, and I can just how do I say it? I can customize this to a lot as well. Actually, let me go back here. I'm gonna grab the old keyboard here, and this is what I had before. This is the K2 keyboard, and let me come in here. So this is the K2 keyboard, and it all came with gray keycaps. These were, I believe, red switches, which were linear switches, so there's no tactile feel, just straight down. But I love this keyboard as well. Anyway, but the one great thing about keyboards or mechanical keyboards is you can customize them to your liking. So I bought these keycaps later on, these white ones, and I love the kind of two-tone vibe it gave me here. But yeah, that's what I have here. I'll put that off the side. But these ones I haven't been able to. I actually like the dark feel, and if we go back, and the nice thing about these keyboards, first of all, is I can change the keycaps later. So if I wanted to change to, let's say, blue keycaps, not keycaps, but the blue switches to get the really clickety sound, that'd be awesome. So, but the problem, okay, the nice thing about, one of the nice things about working from home is I have my own space here, and so I can use a mechanical keyboard no problem. But one downside about going back into the office, other than, okay, I don't have much of a commute, by the way. I walk to work, so I can't complain about a commute, but is I can't have these mechanical keyboards because they will bother everyone. So yeah, but yeah, so that is the keyboard. So the other thing I will show you that I just actually got in today is I wanted to get a light bar actually. And it's kind of a trendy thing right now for setups. But actually, I could see what the hype is as far as a light bar is concerned. I had a lamp before, but I had no place to put it because my desk was getting crowded. And I had put it just on top of my speakers there. But yeah, so this is a cheap light bar. I got it off the coupon site that I had a video of before called the Vipon. And Vipon gives you like discounts. If you go to myvipon.com, it gives you discounts on products. And so this light bar is kind of cool. It has dual lights on both sides. It kind of shines the light down, so there's not too much glare as far as on the monitor itself. It goes straight down, but and it's pretty bright, and I can change the color temperature on here. So anyway, I'm not giving too much details as far as the how do I say it? I'm not going to give too much details on the products yet. Video will be coming again in the next week or two on this. So that's why, but I'm just trying to go through an overview. And let me get back to here. Hey, Ricky, thank you for joining. Yeah, you should make sure to check out Ricky RDT's channel here as well. He does great videos on products as well. A lot of audio products, if I remember correctly. And anyway, he's been doing a lot of great stuff here. So I am just going through my setup here, and I got someone else here, Josh Graham, First time seeing you on the live here. Thank you for joining me. Goals. You know what? I will say this has been like a setup. How do I say it? It kind of is a kind of a dream setup for me. I've kind of slowly built to it, and really I made this as for productivity first, but you need to be able to repurpose everything, and especially if you're not making YouTube as a full-time living or even monetize, even to make it back some of the money back, and which I am aiming towards as far as being monetized. But this is definitely a productivity. If I was doing all live streaming, I don't know if I would live stream necessarily with an ultra wide all the time. Maybe I would do 2 monitors with the camera in the middle, which is more, I think it's a little bit more, how do I say it? More practical as far as for live streaming, but yeah. Let's see. Any good monitor you can recommend starting for YouTube? I would, I don't know if a monitor, I could be, anyway, someone can chime in here, but I think really the monitor is not too crucial as far as starting YouTube is concerned. Really, I would get a monitor for your main uses. So the reason why I got this monitor right here is because I really wanted an ultra wide, because I'm a web developer by trade, so by profession I mean, and so it's my job to, so I needed to be productive. But for me, I would go definitely with, find the right size for you, as far as like, I would go like minimum 23, 24 inch monitor, and get something that's pretty accurate as far as if you're getting into video editing side of things. Get something that's somewhat accurate. Personally, this is not the most, I've said this before, this is not the most accurate, color accurate monitor, but it does good enough. And then I sometimes bring in my stuff into my, I have a MacBook Air, which has great color. I mean, the Apple laptops have good color, and I did have another monitor before, but anyway. Speaking of monitors, let me go to the next one here. Let's see, let's go to this one guy here. I'm just pointing this. Okay, this monitor right here, and it has my live stream windows right now. I mean, my YouTube studio right now is a 13-inch USB-C monitor, and it's a portable monitor, but it's a 13.3 inch by UPerfect. And this is a monitor that I have also, I did a one on my channel here. And the reason why I love this particular monitor, it actually has a VESA mount, VESA mount. They have the holes in the back. So this whole setup right here, and let me zoom out here a little bit. The camera right here, okay, the monitor is on, I have 2 monitor stands. 2 monitor stands. One monitor stand is holding up this ultra wide. This ultra wide's quite heavy, so, and this monitor arm, it's by Vivo. You can search for it on Amazon, but it's at its pretty at its maximum weight capacity as far as holding this monitor up. Then I have a second monitor stand with 2 arms. And one arm is going to this monitor right here. This is a 13.3 inch monitor. And the other arm is going back there, and I have this, my main camera here, right here, mounted onto the other arm. So it's like a dual arm. And again, in my video coming up in a week or two, I will give the details of how I've done it, and kind of where links to all the products here. So I may do a list of links of products here afterwards, but yeah. So Scepter has some good budget monitors. Yeah, and I would say like if you're definitely doing a lot in YouTube, I would say get a 1080p monitor. That way you can really see what other people are seeing output wise. Now, the 24-inch monitors I used to have were a 1080p plus, a little bit more. So they were 1920 by 1200, and that was good for productivity. But as far as for YouTube is concerned, I wish I had like a 1080p monitor dedicated. Um, so yeah, that's one good thing to have. So let's see. So that's the monitor setup. It's on, and the reason why it's vertical here is, again, this is a productivity setup, and so when I'm at work, we use Slack at work. So this is mainly the thing that's going with Slack here. Okay, the other thing, let me see what else is here. Let's talk about this guy here. This guy, and I've talked about this in a live stream before, but this guy is the Elgato key light, and this is a very expensive light retail wise. Again, I bought this used from another YouTuber and who's downsizing everything. So I got it for a decent price, but it's still, I could have probably got something cheaper out there. But the reason why I love the Elgato key light is that I'm able to control it through software, either through my phone, and this is not, this is kind of a boring shot here, but let me get back to here. The reason, let's do it like this. So I can control everything in this through my desktop here, which I want to be able to do everything. So I could change like the temperature here. Let's bring it back to where we are. And I can also change, the intensity here just through the software here. So that's really awesome for me. And I'm also able to do it through the Stream Deck here. So I'm able to, turn on and off the light through the Stream Deck. I can even program things where everything will go all at once here. Related to the lights, and I'm gonna set up my PTZ's camera for the next shot. But as it relates to lights, I've showed this off as well. And these are 2 lights back here with 2 smart bulbs. So I'm able to change the color here. I don't want to change the color of, I don't know if I'll be able to get back there, but yeah. Yeah, so these are Sylvania bulbs with, let me switch to my camera here, with just a clamp. And you can get these clamps at any hardware store. If you're in the US, Home Depot has a bunch of these. I had a bunch of, I got these off Amazon. They're really cheap, but these are the ones that are just kind of, shiny back here. So yeah, so if I change it to, let's say, whites, it'll change the whites, change the colors. So that's my simple setup as far as lights are concerned. So I can turn them off anytime I want, turn them back on. And then related to that, one of the bigger upgrades I did actually to my setup was these curtains right here, actually. So it's the little things you can do. And I just want to say hi to Sammy Superstar. Make sure you check out Sammy Superstar's YouTube channel as well. So please do. And then let's see, Ricky. I definitely use 4K. I upload to YouTube in 4K, but there's no reason to get a 4K if you're not uploading 4K. I sometimes upload a 4K, but I don't have a 4K monitor. But I would recommend getting a 4K, and I'm talking about practical reasons, is like there's reasons to do it, because there's reasons. It's just so much clearer. Like even the way Mac does how do I say, the the scaling of the text, like it's just like having a Retina display, and going back to a non-Retina display, sometimes it's hard. So yeah. And I think you're talking about the lights, and yeah, it's definitely a way to do it. I mean, I actually have another set of lights here that I'm thinking about using as far as a hair light, but I need a different clamp for it. So, so if you can see that, I just turned it on. So, yeah, I am. And so, Sammy, I am using Ecamm tonight because I am using what one of Ecamm's new features is network cameras, and so I have my old PTZ camera back here that I'm showing off my setup tonight, and actually I am using the Rode Wireless Go first version, just because I'm moving around tonight, and but of course you know that I have my pod mic here, which I've kind of turned it off. So yeah, the PTZ, I got it for really cheap as well. So I wish PTZs had a little bit better sensor as far as that's concerned, but they're really good for events and for what you need them for. So, okay, let's see. The other thing I will talk about are these speakers. Now, the thing about these speakers is these are the Amazon Basics speakers. And if you can see, compare it, let's say, to my hand here, if you know anything about like shelf speakers or bookshelf speakers, these are absolutely huge speakers. And someone was asking me, a friend was asking me, why do you need such big speakers? And I would say, I don't, but they were on sale. and so right now, these are actually really good speakers. They're very clean sounding speakers for the price. But that's kind of the controversy right now, is for the price is the main thing. Let me bring it back to there. Sorry for the all of a sudden jarring stuff. So right now they sell for $160, which is fine. I think if you don't need 80 watts, I would get something like some edifiers, which are compact, maybe like this small, maybe 60 watts, and you'll never get any distortion because you'll never really test what 80 watts sounds like, right? Those would be some good monitor speakers. But I got these for $50 or 50 some dollars. And I can't beat that price. And right now they're going for $160. And so you'll see a lot of I realize a lot of the comments complaining in Amazon, a lot of the reviews, because why is this $85? Why is this $100? You could tell people where it was starting to go up in price for some reason. So I got them for pretty much a steal as far as that's concerned. I will be doing a review on them, but I'm kind of how do I say it? I'm a little bit weary of doing a review on it because it's like I can't really recommend them, and I'm kind of giving away the ending. But I mean, the kind of like conclusion for this video, for that potential video, is at $160, I don't think it's worth it. Now at $55, I think I got it for $55. That was an absolute steal, and they're pretty good speakers. I do have some qualms about it, as far as you can't play quiet music, or else it'll start cutting out. It's like there's like a limiter, or there's like a gate on them. So if it's like too quiet, it's not gonna play. Even though there might be some subtle noise, subtle sounds and stuff. And you absolutely you can't operate it without the remote. So would I recommend them? Not at $160. Maybe at 100 or under, I would recommend them. 80 watt speakers, you know? So yeah. And yeah, I was considering actually some Mackie speakers as well. There's a lot of great speakers around that $100 range, and I think, and the main thing about these speakers here are these are huge, and if I didn't have such a big table, actually, I don't think I would have gotten those. So, and actually, I didn't. I should have. I'm one that just kind of buys first and then reads the specs, the details of the specs later. And I would say a lot of I didn't read how big they were and how heavy they were. I didn't until I got them. I go, whoa, these are huge. But they do match up with my. They do match up with the kind of color theme here. So it's another thing about this PTZ camera. It doesn't give you kind of the best colors, but you got to really dial it in. So nothing like this camera here. So yeah, so those are the speakers. And let me see, what else do I have? Anything else that I want to do here that I have set to talk about? So yeah, to kind of give you an overview of what I've been talking about here is things that have changed. Trying to figure out how to stream in. Let me bring up Sam. Yeah, and Sammy, it's funny. I've been thinking about doing a video on it as well. It does take. There's a lot of tutorials out there as far as to do it, but yeah, I would. It's actually, once you get it set up, it's really easy to do, but you have to do, if you're streaming to YouTube, you have to use the keys, and you can't just go straight to YouTube. It doesn't have the API interface as far as there. So let's see. Yeah, PreSonus has good. It's funny you guys mentioned the Mackies, the PreSonus. But yeah, it's been quite a journey just to kind of go through all the different things too. So I think you missed earlier in the broadcast as far as that's concerned, but I don't mind doing it again. Let me get to that 810 monitor here. So, and Sammy, I'll get back to your things there, but this is a cheap monitor I got off eBay, and you could tell, I think that this is for a motorized or for motor vehicle, as far as, or maybe like a camper for like a backup camera, but it does have an HDMI in, so that's why I got it. I was using this as a kind of a confidence monitor before, but I have this. I have my ATEM Mini Pro going into this monitor for my multi-view, so I can see all my camera inputs. But yeah, this is a no brand one. I got off eBay for about $20-30. I think it's about a 5-inch one. You can get the Feel Worlds are really good, or if you want to go cheaper, you can get a newer one, 5 or 7-inch ones as well. So and then Sammy says, you've been stuck for the last hour on this. Yeah, so you have to do the streaming key, and you have to have it plugged in. We're talking about the ATEM Mini Pro here. Of course, you have to plug it into the network cable, and that's one of the downsides, is there's no other way but getting it through an Ethernet cable connected there. And then you have to use the stream keys to go through. So yeah, I'm not sure what's going on there. There's a lot of resources online as far as people's there probably is a Restream configuration out there that you can import. And then I've done it where I can import it into Raspberry Pi, stream to a Raspberry Pi as another monitor as well. So that's kind of cool. So I need a monitor for my multicam setup. What do I recommend? So Ricky is asking. What I did on my last setup was actually, so I won't do a jarring thing, but I actually used my 13-inch monitor here, and forgive me, I'm gonna get into the shot here, and this is another monitor that I am going to do a review on. So I have no, I don't have a shortage of YouTube video ideas and subjects to write on. But this is another USB-C monitor. This one has a mini HDMI input, but these are great. I would find one of these portable monitors, USB monitors, as a multicam setup, especially if you're on the go. But if you're just in the studio, then I would recommend getting like how do I say it? One of those monitors. And let me pull up my Chrome here. One of those small portable monitors, like by Neewer, if you're on a budget, or FeelWorld. So if you look up FeelWorld, like the T7 is highly recommended. A little bit more expensive, about $160. But it's, you know, they're called camera field monitors, and a lot of times you hook up these monitors to a you hook them up to a, how do I say this? What am I saying today? You hook them up to a camera as a confidence monitor almost, or just kind of a way to view what you're seeing on the go. I would get one of those portable monitors. So let me get my setup here as far as sharing my screen here. So I'm doing this on the fly here. So share screen. Let's see, which one do I want to share? Chrome. There we go. All right. So this is what I'm talking about, the FeelWorld T7 here. There are other ones actually, but this is about $160. And then they do make a 5-inch one here. But yeah, these are great as far as really color accurate. A lot of people love the FeelWorlds, but you can actually get one by Neewer, and they do make other ones, like so for example, these are ones that are a little bit cheaper. You want to get one, of course, with the HDMI input, which all of these do. But yeah, these are actually more expensive than I thought. So I've heard great things about the FeelWorld. Now it is a 7-inch. It is a 7-inch monitor, so it's like one of those things where you really have to see if it'll fit in your setup. But if you're on the go, that's actually a good one to use. Or if you want to use one of these USB portable monitors now. This is a 15.6-inch one. This is the AWOW portable monitor. I got this on discount. This is about $200 right now, but I got it for about $100. So I'm always looking for those sales, but there's a lot of these monitors, but they work great, especially if you're a multi-monitor person and you're on the go with a laptop. Or in my case here, you know, I have this UPerfect as how do I say it? I have this UPerfect here as my secondary monitor. So yeah. Okay. I am approaching the end of my live stream today. I do have work tomorrow, but let me get back to my, why isn't this going? There you go. Yeah. We're off. Are we off this? Yes, good. We're off preview mode. Can you monitor multicams at the same time? Can I monitor multicams at the same time? So I'm assuming you're talking about more than one camera. It depends on your setup too. So The only way I can see doing it is through like ATEM or HDMI switcher. But in my case here, I'm actually, let me turn off this light here. Yeah, turn it off. There you go. In my case here, I am using the ATEM Mini Pro, which has a multi-monitor output. And here, and I realize you might have missed the earlier show, here I have my multi-cam setup here, and here is the four different inputs I have. I have two of them hooked up. This one has the, how do I say it? Chromecast set up there. And so you're not going to be able to see it now, but this has the preview. This has what's going out. And what's going out right now is program camera 1. But I can switch it back and forth on 1 and 2. And then with the ATEM Mini, I can do still shots, which is this one that's loaded in there. So I could put that into preview and then put it into program. So let me show you what that means. So what I was doing there is I was just switching back and forth between that. And that is the beauty of the ATEM Mini here. But the ATEM Mini is about a $495 piece of hardware. So depending on your needs, this has been well worth it for me though. So as far as that's concerned. Now, if you do have an ATEM Mini Pro or ATEM Mini, like Sammy and Dr. Yulu do, I have this on a stand here on my desk. And now there's a reason why there's so much lag right here. It's kind of funny. I bought these on Etsy, or if you have a 3D printer, you can print them yourself, but I don't have a 3D printer yet. It's future purchases, but I accidentally put in the wrong specs or put in the wrong item, and I got the ATEM Mini Extreme, which is a bigger machine with 8 inputs, but it actually does help stand up the ATEM Mini and ATEM Mini Pro just fine. So there's just gaps and it does wiggle a little, but if you get the ATEM Mini stand that's for this, it'll be snug actually to it. So but I would recommend getting one of these stands to kind of tilt it up. So the more and more I use the ATEM Mini Pro and the ATEM Mini line of things, the more I'm just loving, the trying to focus here a little bit more. The more I'm loving how this is going. So let's see if I can get this into focus more. But anyway, yeah. So yeah, that's the ATEM Mini. It's yeah. So let's see, what else am I gonna talk about today? Maybe kind of again an overview of what I'm going to talk about in the next week as far as the desk tour is concerned. I hear some sirens outside. I am going to go, because I did a desk tour last time, and this week I'm going to do another desk tour, and I'm just going to show you everything that's new, including this like monitor light bar, which is I love because it doesn't give any glare to me, and it doesn't do much glare. So I got rid of a lamp that was sitting up here. It was kind of ugly. So I'm really happy with how my setup is going. I kind of slowly ramped up things, and I got a lot of it on discount. None of it was donated or sponsored. Kind of slowly built it up. Oh, let me just talk about the last thing that I got recently as well. This pod mic is pretty new, the last couple months. I bought this little kind of windbreak or wind muff or whatever, windshield off Etsy as well. It's just really like a 3D printed thing that goes on the pod mic here with a little bit of things here. And I'm gonna actually, should I switch to it? Let me switch to my pod mic here. Okay, so now I'm back on the pod mic. But the thing that the pod mic is on, and actually, let me switch back to the road. Here. Okay. The thing that the pod mic is this arm right here. And this is the Elgato low profile arm here. And it's going right under my monitor here, another clamp there. And this has been awesome. I love this arm because like when I'm not using it, I just put it out of the way and I'm good to go. While I'm using it, it doesn't block my view of my monitor right here. And I have full use of my my mouse here. So it's just kind of the perfect thing for me right now. And this is how it looks when I have it on. So right now I'm using the pod mic here, and I can get it as close to my mouth as possible. And you're going to hear some of the jarring here. I don't have a shock mount, but I tend not to hit my my keyboard too much when I'm online talking to people. And again, this is first productivity first, and then YouTube second. So, but this has been a really good setup as far as what I've needed so far. So I didn't really know I wanted a low profile, but I knew it was just kind of like I was looking for a nice stand, a mic stand or mic clamp, desk stand. And this is the one that I was kind of eyeing to see if it'll work with my setup, and it happened to work perfectly. I had a really cheap mic stand before with my old microphones, but if you have a pod mic, you know that this pod mic is heavy. So the first thing that I realized when I took it out of the box, it is heavy. And I'm not going to do a review on pod mics because I am not I'm definitely not an audiophile, and there's plenty of reviews out there. You don't need another one from me. So, these are surprisingly hard to get. So I actually ordered them off of Elgato's website directly, and I know it's shipped from Taiwan directly. After looking through the shipping information. But yeah, I was like checking it over and over once I decided I wanted to get it. And it was finally in stock and I grabbed it, and it came about a couple weeks later as well. So not like your Amazon Prime speeds as well. So yeah, that's the kind of the last puzzle. I really only went over what was new with my setup, which is kind of scary. I just have a lot of things. Since my last setup, I actually moved rooms too. I was in my basement, but because of little different changes in our situation here, I no longer have that basement to use. So I'm upstairs in this room office, and there's another desk behind me that's used mainly by my wife. But yeah. Let's see. Wow. Yeah. So if you're really set on getting the Elgato low profile arm, I would say, yeah, keep using the cheap spring arm until you can get what you want. I would say, because then you're going to be buying other things, and you're going to have extra of other things. Like you've already spent some money on that, so you might as well get the accessory you want with it. But hopefully you can get it sooner than later, when it doesn't become too ridiculous as far as just waiting for something. So whatever works for you. If it's working for your setup, your videos are great. So you're doing something right here. So let's see, anything else new on my desk? I'm just looking. I just have things like more organized as far as my desk is concerned. I have, like you see, my hard drives. This is my Elgato. No, this is the CalDigit TS3 Plus. TS3 Plus dock, And then just on this side, I'm moving here. Sorry for the mic change here. Little noise there. I just have a lot of organization. I'm trying to get more organized. So these little shelving I got from Target or Walmart, I forget. And then there's another monitor or printer down there. So, um, sorry for the movement here. I do occasionally print things for different reasons. I have two kids, and you really sometimes need to just print out documentation too, or things for their school, and I have things that I need to print out for all kinds of things. So yeah, I have a printer back there, and yeah. So let's see. The one thing that I will talk about is that I don't do too much, and I probably will never do too much, honestly, is cable management. And so I don't have a camera set up, portable camera set up to show you my cable management down there. I don't let things go all like crazy, but I'm not so. You are going to see wires no matter what in my desk setup. So, and the reason why is I don't have a double setup for everything. I don't have a double of every equipment. So when I do hybrid events, let me get back to you. When I do hybrid events, a lot of this equipment is coming with me. So I'll bring my audio interface for sure. If it's a bigger event, I'll bring the 810 Mini Pro. I'll bring this monitor usually with me instead of this other bigger monitor that I showed off. The 15, this one right here, because it is smaller. Or actually, I'll bring both monitors, one as the 810 Mini multi-view out, and one as my second monitor for my setup. So, in other words, if to do real true cable management, you're gonna really have to like things gonna have to be permanent in your setup, if that makes sense. But this is not a permanent setup. I'm trying to make this I'm reusing a lot of things, and I don't have enough money to buy two of everything, So it's like that's why I need to do that. So that's why cable management suffers. But I do try to keep it as tidy as possible. So I do have some cable runners back there. I do have my power supply, kind of one power supply right attached with some Velcro strips under. And so, yeah, maybe I was debating whether to go through talk about cable management in my upcoming video. And so, yeah, I keep on teasing about this upcoming video. It's not going to be this week, but hopefully in 2 weeks before the Thanksgiving holiday that we have in the US here. But I will be doing a desk tour soon. And if you are not subscribed and you want to see that desk tour, please do subscribe. Appreciate it. I am approaching on, I've surpassed, I'm at about, I'm well into the 600 plus subscribers and working my way. And a big goal of mine is to get past the 1,000, to get 1K sometime next year. So to get that monetization, that everyone has that goal who's starting YouTube, is to make it somewhat to get some investment back into it. But yeah, I'm not here to do this full time necessarily, but you never know what'll happen in the beginning, at the end. So, but all I know is what I did in the beginning here. It was kind of crazy. I just never realized that this would be like how this would turn out to be. So it's been super crazy for me. So anyway, I appreciate everyone coming to join me. I am going to wrap up this live stream here. I do appreciate everyone coming. And as far as that's concerned, yeah, thanks for coming. I will see you all later, and have a good one. All right, I'll see you all later. See ya. Is this going to go? See you guys. I'm just gonna end the show. I was gonna play the music, but the music is not going. Oh, let me just do that. Let's just do it manually. I'll see you guys.